This is what a $2 million renovation looks like. This estate is comprised of 5 contiguous lots, 3 houses, over 8,000 total square feet. At the main house, we updated the kitchen, 5 bathrooms, a new motor court, a movie theater, and much more. Today, we are giving you a tour of all of it. Welcome to the Overlook on Lake Travis. Let's start off with this one-of-a-kind primary bathroom. First, we have Joseph Califano with JVC Construction. He's been filling in, doing videos for us, kicking ass. He did a ton of work on this project. Let's get into this shower. Behind me is a wall of tile that could be in an art museum. Joseph, tell us exactly how we installed that wall tile, and then let's go into all the details of the bathroom.
All of this tile all came secured by plastic. What we did is kept the plastic on and laid the entire wall out before we installed. We did all of our cuts laid out on the floor, measured exactly, and then we were able to place. But once we place, when we pull that plastic off with wet thin set, all of those pieces start to get messed up. So we had guys going in with tweezers, moving each and every one of these pieces to get it perfect. It was a beast. It was fun to do.
This bathroom, it was dated. It was like early 2000s. We gutted the whole thing.
We had a weird kind of coffered ceiling, almost had like ceiling like the Venetian in Vegas.
Yeah,
exactly. It was blue. We had a ton of curves in here. So really we wanted to keep the feel of the entire home. So we kept the natural wood trim, we kept natural wood in the cabinetry, but we updated it. White paint made it just slightly more modern while still trying to keep the ornateness. So we basically did all new tile flooring, a new freestanding tub, new cabinetry, Taj Mahal quartzite on all of the vanities.
Let's talk about this beautiful cube of quartzite.
We were a little bit nervous with the execution, to be completely honest. This is a curbless shower, it's square, it's freestanding glass. We're setting our glass over a floating bench. Basically what he did is he grain matched all the sides of this. So he mapped it out, he was able to take it out of a slab and then mitered every single edge. And he spent so much time getting it perfect, sliding it back and forth in the space. So all of it's mitered, it's all grain matched. If you can see going down the sides, it carries directly from the top all the way down the sides.
While we were gutting the bathrooms, we found out that there was all what's called Ki-Tech piping. It is known to leak and it caused catastrophic leaks. So when we found Ki-Tech in this home, we had to replace all of the Ki-Tech in all of the walls with new Upanor PEX, which is the way to go.
This kind of leads into those unforeseen circumstances that you always teach me to talk about. And once we opened it up, it was the first thing our plumber said. That's really why you have to have good tradesmen on site, because our plumbers were willing to call that out. You know, they were right away said, hey, this is Ki-Tech plumbing, it's been discontinued, and it was something that was brought to our attention immediately.
Our clients end up appreciating that honesty. Like, it is our duty to bring these things to their attention. If we find bad framing, if we find mold, messed up electric, XYZ. All right, let me show you one of my favorite features of this home. Let's go down to the motorcade. All right, guys, quick break from the build. Let me introduce you to the sponsor of this video, ENS Energy Pouches. Whether I'm on the job site or locked in the office, focus is everything. You can't build anything great when your brain's stuck in demo mode. The team and I have been recently introduced to ENS Pouches. It's a cleaner, sharper alternative to those sugar-packed energy drinks you see at the gas station. No tobacco, no nicotine, no junk sweeteners. And we're talking bold flavors: black cherry, wintergreen, tropic mango, just to name a few. Need a lift? The Energy Blend gives you 50 milligrams of caffeine. Want clarity without the jolt? The Focus Blend is caffeine-free, all made right here in the USA. Use code JGB at checkout for 15% off at enspouches.com. That's NZE pouches.com. Now let's get back to the build. Easily one of the coolest spaces we've ever done. What an incredibly unique feature to any home. So this is a garage. There's garage doors on either side and you can pull in like a circular driveway. This was just a simple garage when we started, but now this is a swanky man cave. We have extractor fans for cigars, pool table, poker tables. We have vintage Porsches, and then check out our awesome kitchen and bar. Joseph, get into some of the details and the things that we did here.
We actually replaced all of the tongue and groove due to that Ki-Tech plumbing we mentioned earlier. But you know, it brought life back to the space. And to be completely honest, originally this wasn't climate controlled. So we had a little bit of mold buildup on the previous tongue and groove. Now that we've added these huge arch windows on either side, it's really refreshed the space. We got rid of all of that mold. It was definitely necessary. Going on to the pretty stuff though, amazing custom cabinetry by Soul
Solutions, of course.
Always.
Dude, those shelves are so sick. And how all of that stone is lit integrated.
This house has 7 AC units. So the client was not super keen on adding an 8th. So a good compromise we did for the space and the size was just double mini splits. It matches the white paint. It was easy to install, not super intrusive. We didn't have to run everything back, and they were also added towards the end, and we had already made some significant progress here, so having to cut stuff open again was gonna be a nightmare.
One of my favorite spaces ever. We are in the foyer. Talk about a dramatic entry, baby. This work of art, this is a literal sculpture comprised of how many different pieces?
I think we're sitting at 9 total.
9 different pieces. This fixture is about $15,000. And then look, we have like 20 feet of space. Joseph, tell us about getting the scaffolding in here, cutting all the different holes for all the different J boxes up there, getting this thing in. I mean, this must have been horrific and so scary to get in.
Awesome for the experience, but at the time, very stressful. So this actually didn't give us the specs on the individual J boxes. So we originally only had 1 J box up there, and we thought it was all gonna get powered from that single J box. Little did we know, each unit is individual.
This is hard sometimes. This stuff is from like some foo-foo company that's like foreign. The specs are all like bull. And like, we didn't have the exact specs on this. This was a lack of information by the supplier.
Shout out to our electricians, because we were here till 11, 12 at night trying to get this up for our clients to be able to move in. This would have been an absolute disaster because of how delicate each one of these leaflets are. They're all ceramic. Once the clients start moving in furniture, we can't have this on the ground. So we had to get it up prior to them moving in. Does give the feel of that indoor-outdoor. We bring in the exterior stone on this foyer and then have this kind of natural flowery area. It gives a really seamless transition into the main area.
And I love how, you know, the ceilings are so tall, but you bring in a big sculpture fixture like this, and it just actually shows you how big the space is. If one of these ceramic leaflets breaks, the whole thing is screwed. I mean, hopefully we can order another piece, but how long's the lead time, you know? They're trying to move in. So man, this stuff is just high stress. It had to be done delicately. You nailed it, bro. Thank you so much. The den, another really cool, unique room. So all of this noise, there was tons of custom built-in cabinetry. It did look beautiful, but it was a little bit gaudy. So we ended up just pulling all of it off from that corner of the stairs around the room to open this up. Now the window's a focal point. You have kind of a white wall for a backdrop, put some awesome furniture, and then let the bar speak. This bar is kick-ass. We have these shelves. They're these steel shelves with the onyx backlit, just like the bar downstairs. Really, really cool. Just a way to make a space a little more creative, a little more functional, and it took a lot of heavy lifting to get there.
Welcome to the home theater. This is another really cool space. We didn't do a ton of work in here, mainly cosmetic, but what we did do made a huge difference. So we had this weird circus tenting that was on top. We removed that. We got rid of all of the wall padding that was existing. We redid the carpet in here, and then we added this awesome custom cabinetry. It's scribed to the curve of the room. So this is interesting because it's a circular room.
Let's go into the office and show there's another awesome scribe in there, and then how we redid all that cabinetry. Welcome to the executive office. All new wood floors in here, custom cabinetry. We updated that powder, but let me keep talking about scribing. Come on in. So right here, weird curved wall. So if you notice, we have to take our cabinets, scribe it to this corner, but then our countertop, we have to scribe that whole thing. Look at getting back in there. You're going with this straight angle to a curve to a point in the very back. That's what makes a home feel custom, and you're building in to the existing constraints. Come check out one of 3 awesome full bath remodels that we did upstairs. So first off, we're highlighting the awesome marble. We did the same marble on the floor in here, the shower pan, and the shower walls. But if you notice, these tiles are very big on the floor, but look at the size they are on the wall and on that pan. Tell us how in the hell did we get those size tiles from these size tiles?
Well, every single one of them was custom cut. We basically cut 4-inch strips out of every single tile, and that was really to accommodate this curve. We did the same thing on the floor. Instead of doing a 4x24 strip, we did 4x4 squares mix match. I mean, I'm so glad we ended up doing it. It was a lot of work at the beginning. It paid off. Well, and another thing, this tile is discontinued. And it got discontinued during the project. So I went thinking we were gonna need 2 more boxes because of some of the tile. And some of these cuts are actually waste pieces that we were able to save, whether it's down here at the bench or down at the floor. Some of them are waste pieces because when I called to get 2 more boxes thinking we were gonna be short, we were out of luck.
This window was really hard to make. We had to mull 3 different panes together to get this radius. Talk to us a little bit about that.
We talked to our rep at RAM and she came up with this awesome idea. We're just gonna mull 3 together. It is a little bit scary though to be replacing windows. So we were tiling and they were installing these windows. So there was heavy protection on the tile, heavy protection upstairs. Our flooring had been done. So following the line of continuity, we did this in every single bathroom. They have their own different floor plans, but they still look like they were done in the same project. Let's head over to the Casita, because that's where a lot of stuff changed. We got down and dirty, did a full gut. That one was fun.
Welcome to the Casita. We took this puppy from 1970s into the modern day. This whole space used to be closed off by walls. We knocked them all down. We put up a huge steel beam wall to wall, and then look at this awesome open floor plan. First thing we had to do, put up our temporary support walls. Next, we had to cut all the ceiling joists to make room for our steel beam. Then we go ahead, get our steel beam in. There's a post on this side, and you see right over there, that bump out is another steel post. We get our beam in, we tack weld it on, and then we attach the ceiling joists back to the beam, pull out the temporary support walls, and there you go. Joe, let's get into the details.
We basically kept the same exact layout without any of the walls. We kept the living room there, brand new kitchen, custom cabinetry. We went paint grade here. Because we have 8-foot ceilings, we were comfortable doing a recessed vent hood here, and it still allows all of this open space. We have 2 huge sliders in the back, so you can see directly out to the lake. There's nothing obstructing your view.
I love these things. The recessed vent hoods are awesome. If you have a second floor above you, we need at least, this was like 14 inches of space, right? So sometimes you can get lucky. If you have a new modern home and you have big floor trusses like 24 inches, no problem. There's an attic above us, so it wasn't a problem. But if you have an older home with a second story above, check your clearance before you look into installing one of these.
We kept the original fireplace. So these are things that, we wanted to make sure we kept the original character. We used the same floors in here. Again, speaking of continuity, the same floors in here that we did over in the main house.
I also want to bring up another point. Keeping original elements does not make our lives easier. It makes them harder. It would be so much easier to just rip out that fireplace, put a new window there. When you're building around existing things, that's where all these really tough details come into play, because nothing's level, nothing's plumb, nothing's square. So we have to make it look level, plumb, and square. When you have all those walls before, it was really dark in here. So how did we brighten up the space with a bunch of natural light?
We initially were just planning on doing these 2 sliders. If you come on over here, our client came in and said, hey, I think there should be a little bit more, and we have a stone facade on the outside. We did these 2 windows along with replacing every other window in the Casita, and this makes a huge difference in this space.
So why are these rear-facing windows so important on both the main house and the Casita? Let me show you. This property is called the Overlook on Lake Travis for a reason. One of the very best views on one of the most awesome lakes in the whole state. Just massive panoramic views from both the Casita and the main house.
So out back of the Casita, we did brand new looters, we did a brand new pergola, and we carried the stone that's currently on the front and the sides all the way across the back. This was siding, and it was painted this weird green. And what we decided to do is to give a little bit more feel, a little bit more luxury. We carried the stone, we did a mortar slurry, which allows for a little bit more of a modern feel. and I think it turned out amazing, especially up against these brand new black windows. It turned out awesome. Let me show you what we did in the rest of the casita. So in this casita, there's 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. We remodeled the master bath, we added a laundry room, and then we remodeled the other 3 bedrooms. That just got new flooring, new paint, and the bathroom got a full remodel. But I do want to show you this bathroom and something we did a little bit differently. Continuity was a big thing in this project. So with that being said, we did the same flooring, we did the same countertop, but we were a little bit busy in the main house for a good reason. It is the main house. But for this casita, we wanted it to be a little bit more toned down. So I love what our designer did. Basically what we did is a very concrete feeling tile here and up the walls. And it just feels a little bit more homey. We had a lot of marbling. We had the ornate mosaics that were in the main house. And here, we don't want to outshine that. It's too small of a space to get really busy like that. We have very high ceilings over there. Here we have 8-foot ceilings. It's the original home on the property. So I love what we did with the large format concrete feeling tile. It makes the space look bigger. It makes it look more comfortable and just not as intrusive.
So overall, the other areas that we touched in this home is we did new paint throughout. For instance, in the kitchen, we had beautiful oak cabinets. We decided to keep those, but we tore out all the existing tile, all the countertops. There was some tough curves and some tough miters in there, but that Taj Mahal quartzite is shining through. What you don't see is a beautiful copper vent hood that's on back order. Hopefully that will get in soon. Out in the dining room, we did a custom built-in banquette. This feels like a hotel. Very lush, luxurious, and then that beautiful chandelier over the dining table, which is from the same line that's in the foyer. So also multiple pieces, tough install, and it really sets everything off. Over here in the great room, we did this beautiful mirror wall, of course, all the drywall and paint, and then that existing chandelier is a massive hunk of steel and the clients loved it, so we decided to keep it. So y'all, the Overlook on Lake Travis. This is a project for the books. We could not be happier. We have happy clients, which is always amazing. They're gonna be a great referral for us, and we are just so proud to be able to do these massive estate homes, knock it out in a timely manner, and kick it out of the park. Thank y'all for watching. I will see you on the next one.